colleague. And Sen made this really awesome video. If you guys have never seen it, you should definitely just Google it or YouTube it right now. Sen application NASL Season 1, which is so funny because they make this scene where he says like, I'm practicing really hard and I never get distracted, and then like a really cute girl sits next to him and he's playing but his eyes go totally like to the side where he's looking at the girl. It's awesome. And he's always like, I also believe that I should always work harder and I will never complain about balance. And then they load up another video where he's like, oh my god, the force field! Where he's like complaining about it. It's really cool. It's super funny video. Super nice guy as well, man. We had the pleasure of spending some time with him last season for one of the NASL Sunday showdowns where he played against Todd back then, Le Todd, who's currently living with us. Le Todd,
he's also like a truly natural tractor driver.
Yeah, he was very good.
Sin's got some serious skills when it comes to operating heavy machinery.
Yeah, and for the people who wonder how is it possible that Sen just played one series so far, I must say, by the way, the play that he did beat Ben is not the easiest one, as he took out Stefano in his EVZ series. But yeah, Sen has one postponed game, and that we're playing right now. He's postponed this week against the Muslim for WCS Asia. He also had his bye week already, so that was just a week where he had a week off. And there's one more series against Night End, where we will announce what's going to happen real soon.
That's exactly right, as we do see the opening moments of QXC Sin on Entombed Valley. These guys have spawned in fairly close positions. QXC on the top right, Sin on the bottom right. That can make for some pretty short pushes later on in the game.
Cool to see QXC going CC first, Ben, against a player like Sen. I'm digging that. Of course, you don't really have to worry about an early pull when you play against Sen. But still, it's bold. It's basically saying like, alright, I'm going to give you the time to macro up because I have faith in my own opening, despite me not being able to put any pressure on you early on, or can really pose a whole lot of stress. Because of course the problem is when you go command center first, you basically give Zerg a free pass for at least a certain amount of time.
Yeah, and I'm sure that we'll see Sin taking big advantage of that. He's a player that loves it when he has a free pass to drone up. There's a lot of Zerg players out there who have a reputation for being heavy droners. Of course, Rhett probably the king of them all, but Sin is somebody who can build. He can hold down that D button with the best of them, Kev.
It's almost as impressive as pressing that T button, ain't it, right, man? You guys have no idea how proud MrBitter is of Transfuse.
Transfuse is a really fun ability.
It is. No joke about that. I just thought it was really cool. One day, MrBitter was like super enthusiastic. He's like, Kev, see this. Just watch this replay. I was like, okay, we're gonna see something really cool. And Ben often does do pretty cool stuff. And in that moment, all that he was doing is hitting the T button on the ultra list. He's like, you see, it's still alive, it's still alive.
I had 3 ultras against like 30 roaches, man. I should have never won that fight. It was really cool.
Yeah, you made some good transfuse. Nah, it was pretty cool. I'm not joking. But it was not what I expected. I expected something else. Maybe a big Baneling detonation, a nice run by, or anything. But
so you're just going to highlight one unit and then press T and click.
Yeah.
And then press T and click. And then press T and click.
And you guys should have seen Ben's face, because after every time one of his queens used the transfuse, he got a little bit of a brighter smile.
You see?
And by the end, we can actually take a small look at the Sen applications video after this game, just a few seconds of the moments that I mentioned. It's such a long time ago, but a couple of those videos were really funny. I made a funny video back then with the Muslim as well, while we see the starport going down, and the reactor is next to the factory already, so this is kind of a standard opening for QXC. Of course, it arrives a little bit later when you go command center first. But yeah, I made a kind of funny application with the Muslim. Have you guys seen the video that the Muslim made when he applied for NASL Season 1?
Yeah, those were all so long ago. I don't really remember very many of them, if any of them at all.
I remember quite a few of them. I thought it was funny. Yeah, the Muslim was kind of cool. We made it together. And back then he still had his arm in his cast. And everything was going well until 4 minutes and 30 seconds. And then like some woman walked by and I kind of followed the woman with my camera. And then the Muslim like looked at the woman and he made a really weird face like, ah, she's hot. And then he started giggling. It was really funny.
We check out the APM tabs of these two players. We can see that it's QXC, in fact, who is playing way faster than Sin. 250 actions per minute for the American Terran player, who has been spending a lot of time practicing in the Complexity House, and I'm hoping to see more steady improvement out of QXC, because every time he plays, it seems, he's better and better and better.
QXC has been part of the NASL since Season 1 though, Ben, as we saw in the player introduction shit and never really had a fantastic season, even though what I remember from QXC in Season 3, man, is that he really played very good in a lot of series. And so far in Season 4, I thought he played fantastic against MMA, and even against Finale, I think he really played quite good. But still, QXC right now, unfortunately for him, 0-3 in the league, but he had 3 very strong opponents, as the Muslim, MMA, and Finale are, of course, the opposite of a free win.
That is certainly a very good point. As the first Banshee going to make its way here into the back of Sin's Natural. Hellion's going to run through at the exact same time, so QXC want to apply some heavy pressure to his Zerg opponent. Banshee's completely unchecked there in the back of the Natural, and these Hellions are going to make it up into the main. Sin still hasn't reacted to this Banshee at all. She's got 8 kills, 9 kills already. And Hellion's still running amok through the main base. Excellent early game harass from QXC.
QXC taking out so many drones in the main base off Sen, so despite everything being a little bit delayed, it just didn't really matter.
Drones roasting from the high ground even.
Yeah, really nice shots from the high ground as well. This Banshee been 14 kills, maybe even 15 kills. It's just
Do we dare check the workers lost tab? 31 drones have fallen. Some phenomenal harass there.
Now what I really hope to see out of QXC, Ben, is that he right now just makes a lot of units and then start heading out with bio units. Because how often don't we see Terrans killing so many drones, but then just taking command centers around the map or going mech? Obviously this is not QXC going mech, as quite a few Rexes are up already and more Rexes are on the way. But just don't give Zerg the time to just simply replace those drones, because then everything was for nothing. This is an insane amount of drones that QXC just killed.
Yeah, you make a fantastic point, Kevin. QXC has now forced Sin into a position where he has to make drones. What's the best way to take advantage of that? By doing something that forces him to make units, or doing something that punishes him for not having units. QXC is continuing to macro up, but like you said, he's taking that third base. This is going to give Sin some time.
Yeah, he already had this, of course, as he built it in his main, so I can't blame him for that. Now, of course, he knows that he can safely put it there, since it's impossible that Sen is going to have any units on the map to pose a threat to this base. Sen is going to take his 4th hatchery already, man, because he knows that he's just going to have to play greedy. He's going to have to cut some corners and try to get a really sick economy and hope that QXC is not going to be aggressive with Sin Bio, which is so far the case.
Yep, right now Zerglings and Queens working on some destructible rocks in the middle of the map. Sin going to continue to push this creep out. QXC has done really nothing to slow the spread of this creep. Uh-oh. The tank stuff?
Yeah.
Oh.
I hope that QXC is going to figure it out. It would be very sad to see 3 tanks getting stuck over there. Of course, he could always lift up this factory, but you don't want to do it right now as he's researching siege mode. I don't think he's aware of this. I'm not 100% sure. But I saw him clicking manually.
In the meantime, Sin is going to continue pushing this creep. Great creep spread from Sin already.
He knows, he knows, he knows.
Factory will just reposition. That means that we have a useless tech lab, but that's only 50 minerals, 50 gas. Not a big deal. As Sin has more or less recovered, Kevin. He's up to 75 drones now, with a few more still queued up. And starting up his 2-2 melee and carapace upgrades, getting Baneling speed, and getting Aspire. So Sin wants to play sort of very, very delayed Muta style.
It's kind of weird. Surprised me a little bit, but it's going to, I guess, play out quite well. He's going to get the first few Banelings. Has Overlord in decent positions, but I must say spotting purple Medevacs is incredibly annoying. Not only if you play against it, but also if you're observing. So if I'm ever going to miss a drop, Ben, I hope you have my back.
I am all over it, Kev. As QXC has decided to split up these 2 Medevacs. I'm really impressed at Sin's creep spread, man. He's almost making his way over to the base of QXC's natural ramp there, and these tumors are giving him so much vision around the middle of the map.
QXC, of course, has a sick economy as well, man. He's up to soon 73 workers. His 4th command center is done. I wouldn't be surprised if he's just going to make this into a planetary fortress, which is, of course, always nice to have something to fall back on in case you get over-eager with your bio units. But he didn't have the day bans, and is still so rich right now. And yes, he lost a lot of drones early on. What does that really matter in this phase of the game?
Medevac drop is unloading in the back of the main base there of Sin.
All over it.
QXC not really paying attention, just loses those Marines almost immediately.
There's another drop over here on the left side of the map, but he's not using that one yet either. Might be on purpose, even though he's going to stim in right now, while also taking control of the middle of this map. He's going to pick up perhaps a few Overlords. There are Queens here, Ben. Are we going to see that T button being used?
Oh, very impressive use of transfusion here from Sin, keeping them Queens alive. And wow,
actually, he did it really well.
Impressive.
Actually, he kept all the Queens alive.
Doesn't lose anything. And now he's got mutas out, and there are no turrets anywhere.
He's morphing so many banelings, Ben, but he's really going to need those banelings for this fight. QXC, of course, pretty damn good in splitting up his units. He's already positioning himself damn well, and also picking up overlords left and right. How many hatcheries is Sen on? Like 6 right
He's
now?
got a ton. 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 hatch.
I think 6.
As Sin is just going to go for the big attack right now. There's not that many Marines in this army. It's going to make these mutas super effective. And Sin...
Love how Sen just goes for it immediately, Ben. A lot of units are making their way across the map. QXC is going to have to be careful. He might end up losing all these reinforcements as well, even though this tank is already a hero. How many Zerglings did he... Oh, actually not that many. I felt he killed way more.
Yeah, man, when tanks shoot, it leaves this big ball of fire that looks like 10 kills.
Big ball of fire.
But it's not. It's not 10
Can you
kills.
sing that song for me?
Goodness gracious. Great balls of fire.
I thought you were going to do a shoutcast once in the 50s style with the radio
that's
voice.
right. I was supposed to do that. I completely forgot. Maybe when we come back from the break, I can do it 50s radio voice style.
I think that's awesome. It's the best thing about watching these boxing movies about legends where they still have the old commentary. Like, I really enjoyed that of the movie Muhammad Ali. I thought
Down
it was awesome.
goes Frazier.
It's pretty awesome. Medevac is active on this left side of the map, but Sandman with fantastic cruise threat, as you mentioned before, despite dealing with so many Hellions early on. 3-3 upgrades are on the way for QXC, who is well, still pumping out as many buy units as possible. He's working off, how many factories do you have? 2?
It was 2 last time I checked. Maybe he's added a 3rd by now. 3 factories, but only 2 of them have tech labs, so that's one thing that he hasn't quite accounted for just yet. There's another drop in the back of Sin's 5th base. Again, though, Sin is so fast to react to these drops. Very, very nicely done. QXC pushing through the center of the map. He is on creep, Kevin. That is a dangerous place to be.
Certainly when there are 40 banelings on the map and Sen is already positioning his units to engage this in the best possible way. QXC, this is going to get really dicey.
Oh, here comes Sin, Zerglings, banelings, and mutas. Oh my! And I don't think QXC has really much of a prayer here. Actually, banelings all detonating on siege tanks. That does give QXC some life, but there were so many banelings, so many Zerglings that there's still quite a few left over. Great splitting here from QXC.
Yeah, he's doing this really well, but Sen is just so rich, man, and the banelings just keep rolling in. Eventually, Ling Baneling will be able to clean up everything. And look at this, the production tab. Now, Sen already made it to the front page of Reddit during WCS Asia, where how many links did he make? 160.
Some ridiculous number. Now it's 11 mutas at once.
And he just made like 80 links as well, or 94. It's a pretty beautiful race, ain't that right, man?
That's Sin macro, man.
I'm so sad that I missed most of Todd's casting, because Todd was recently casting the Iron Squid qualifier. Of course, very excited to see Iron Squid making its comeback. But apparently Todd had to cast a bunch of Zergs qualifying.
I spoke with him about that this morning. He said he now knows more about ZVZ than any other matchup ever. Sin is maxed out. QXC is going to try to hold here at his 4th base. He's got the tools to do it. A planetary, some siege tanks, some marines, and a really nice wall. The question becomes, though, can he stop the iron fist of Sin, who is going to be barreling forward with Zerglings, banelings, and mutas in mass?
I'm pretty excited to watch that movie, The Iron Fist.
It looks pretty cool, man.
Yeah, with a badass soundtrack. Here come all the links, man. Of course, with Planetary Fortress, it's going to be a little bit risky. Oh, look at these banelings. The Marines are so plumbed up.
Whoa, double kill here as the banelings are just going to kill the command center that was building and the planetary that was completed. Easily done there. Sin is going to remax once more on 50 lings, 6 more mutas. It's going to take his muta count up over 30. And
reminds me a little bit of the good old days of ZVT.
Yeah, where the mutas just fly in and just crush whatever the hell is in their way.
Just idle above all these production facilities and then just pick everything up one by one. It's an insane amount of mutalisks.
One thing that might be working in QXC's favor is there's not much anti-infantry in the army of Sin right now. He is morphing 8 banelings, but there are no infestors. And those 8 banelings that he's building are the only ones that he's going to have. So QXC right now has 53 Marines that, if well split, could maybe make a big difference.
Queenstar a little bit in a too far front as well. Both Queens will fall. Sen is still going to try to make a stand just with a few banelings right now. Good splitting again by QXC, but the muta count, Ben, it's so high.
Yeah, muta count is so incredibly high. The Marines doing a pretty good job. A lot of mutas falling. And wow, in spite of that, 124, 126 lings in production right now. In spite of that great engagement, that very big muta count from Sin, QXC actually maintains this push. It's this next wave of Ling reinforcements that I think will probably break him.
With QXC sending over really a lot of reinforcements as well, Ben, and if he's able to siege up all those tanks, I actually think QXC might be able to take out all the units, and this is of course all the larva that Sen had. He has only 15 larva remaining, Ben.
Oh, here we go. Sen is going to come crashing in once more. Banelings have to connect with Marines. They are being controlled okay, but eventually they do end up colliding with those siege tanks.
Oh, I'm surprised that. Okay, he's going to pick up these remaining Marines first before he's going to try to pick up these siege tanks. These are all the Marines that are here right now. Sen, you can take this out pretty easily. Even though he only has 9 Mutalisks remaining, Ben, QXC during all this.
50 reinforcing Marines coming back across the map, Kevin. This is just incredible macro from QXC. His money has stayed so low. He has a supply lead now. His upgrades are phenomenal.
Yeah, it's 3-3.
And Sen has lost that big, powerful Muta ball. He can no longer really threaten a huge counterattack. There's only 9 Mutas left.
Scan goes down. QXC is going to spot most of these banelings, so he knows what he's up against. He's going to siege up on the high ground, I think, or at least with a few units. So he's going to take, going to put some siege fire on this. Tanks are not sieged up right now, but will be sieged up in time. Stan, what are you going to do? He's going to go for it.
He's going to go for it. Tanks are in front. Banelings need to get through. They will get through.
Beautiful splits though, once more by QXC, and I think that's good enough for now. Oh, even though there are a couple of banelings remaining, I guess it's not good enough. Sen barely cleans it up.
Sen does clean up and retakes the supply advantage. 11 mutas, but that's all he has. 30 lings now popping out. On the production tab, we can see 30 more are building. 3-3 upgrades for the Zerglings, plus 3 a flyer attack. About to finish up for these mutas. Sen has gone up to Hive without making a single infester, without making Greater Spire. He's just doing it for the upgrades.
Plus 3 mutas, pretty scary. It's crazy how he's still injecting. He lost a lot of queens throughout this entire game. He only has 3 queens right now. Of course, a couple of them had quite some energy. He's going to take control of the Zelnaga Watchtower, and now QXC is rolling in, but I think, well, without banelings.
Yeah, the plus 3 attack Marines, man, you can't really engage that without banelings or infestors. Sen has neither. He will begin to morph a couple of banelings. That gives him finally some more fighting strength.
Seaban QXC always provides us good games in the NASL, so his record really doesn't speak for the games that he's showing us. Even though he's 0-3 this season, game number 1 against Sen, he's playing a phenomenal game once more.
Yeah, he is really playing some great StarCraft. He has reestablished his 4th base. He's even taken a 5th base. Mutas are going to try to deny that. I think they'll probably be successful.
Sen is going to put all these units up on the ramp. It's going to be pretty much impossible for QXC to keep this base alive. That's an annoying loss, Ben.
Nice positioning there by Sen, really taking advantage of his numbers and the strength of his army.
QXC couldn't definitely afford to lose a few SCVs, though. That's not really the problem. The problem is that he's going to lose his mining base. Banelings are not going to commit, but they will commit soon. They are kind of trapped right now, though.
Now he's got some lings that are sort of stuck up there. That was maybe a questionable move. Lings and mutas are going to come down once more, and reinforcing lings and banelings on the ground going to attack as well. But the tanks, they're always in front. They're always so well positioned. And Sen is consistently connecting banelings with siege tanks, and that's really not what you want to do. These mutas will get behind the I guess, production line of that 4th base, pick up a couple more SCV kills before they move on.
QXC just now working on +2 for the tanks. If he would have had that a little bit quicker, maybe he would have been able to deal with lings and banelings in a few fights a bit better. That's the only thing that was perhaps a little bit late. What a slugfest, man. As Sen has sacrificed so many units. Units killed. 835 for QXC. Ain't that crazy?
Resources lost tells a hell of a story. Sen has been playing the Zerg style of old. Just make lots and lots of stuff and throw it at your opponent until he breaks. But QXC seems to have a titanium backbone as he just will not give in here.
Drop was going on the left bottom side of the map. Sorry guys, I missed it, as there is some light on my screen as well, and spawning purple drops is really hard. QXC is once more moving across the map and with an almost maxed out, very scary bio army.
Sen as well will be maxed. He's got a lot of Zerglings and banelings. 33 banelings, 93 Zerglings, 36 more lings in production. So we're going to see about 200 lings crashing into this army. Wow, man, this is like the Battle of the Bulge. These guys are just going to line up and throw everything they have at one another.
Braveheart?
This is, man. And Sen will force the fight. Here we go. Again, tanks in a great position. Banelings have got to manage to connect with those Marines. Sen seems like he's engaging very well, though. Siege tanks all going to fall to the Zerglings and the Mutas, and the Banelings cleaning up the rest. That was the best fight Sen has taken all game long. And that will completely demolish QXC's presence on the map. He still has about 40 Marines back at home.
He has enough, I think, to survive at least for a little while. But the biggest problem is, man, ooh, these banelings are just gonna die right now. A little bit sloppy there by Sen. But I guess that's what happens if you have a 28-minute game like this. The biggest problem is, man, QXC is basically mining off one base right now. Sen did such a good job in denying that 5th base that QXC is down to 1 mining base, and even this base is almost empty.
Yeah, he's soon going to be completely barren in terms of what money he can bring in and where can he really go. Sin keeps denying the left side of the map, and I don't know where he can go is what I'm trying to say. This lower but kind of middle expansion obviously is covered in creep. You can't go farther to the left because if Sin's got a chokehold on this top left 3rd base, then what else are you going to do? And right now mutas are just going to ransack the production line there at that 4th base.
Maybe all the QXC can do, Ben, is just slowly but steadily lose all the SCVs, max out on Marines, and then just try to win the game with one army. But the problem is that there are hatcheries all around the map, so the reinforcements wave are always going to be really scary for Sen. Since Sen, his bank is going to grow again, and he's going to have units streaming in from so many different
And
directions.
that also gives him options, Kevin. If he ever takes a bad fight, he still has the choice to just sacrifice bases and reassert himself somewhere else. I mean, Sin has played a phenomenal game. QXC finally manages to buy himself enough room to retake this top left expansion. The question becomes, how long will he be able to hold it?
Still have 67 Marines on the map, Ben, but there are 37 banelings, 75 links, and 30 mutalisks. I'm a little bit surprised, man, that Sen never... Hello, there's a happy Zergling. Look. Whoop, whoop.
There's a Zergling in my siege tank. And the tank does deal with that Zergling pretty ceremoniously.
Poor Ling, man, he's so lost. He's like, guys, I was rolling with all my banelings.
It reminds me of like a dog I had that used to love to chase cars. The outcome was much the same.
Oh, don't tell me that. That's not fun.
It's like the saddest story ever, man. I think I told it on the stream once. I don't want to tell it again.
No, don't do that.
Sin looks like he's going to come take a shot at the production line of QXC, and this could be very, very dangerous, as if QXC loses his ability to reinforce, it's not going to matter how many mining bases he has. Banelings are all the way up into the main. What? Whoa. Look at these Marines, way too clumped up. QXC is going to need some miracle splitting. Muta's doing a great job denying these siege tanks, and QXC realizes that he has overstepped his bounds. GG. Sin takes game number 1. Very, very exciting game. They're great play from both sides, and that is Sin in his Season 1 application video.
When I'm practicing, I will let nothing distract me. Sen is so cool, man. Sen is really, really cool.
Such an awesome guy. He's, of course, a big celebrity in Taiwan as well. One of the winningest esports personalities in the history of esports in Taiwan. That last game brought to you guys by GoToMyPC, remote access to your PC from anywhere on the planet. NASL offering a special promotional offer on GoToMyPC software. You can access that at nasl.tv/p/GoToMyPC. TT1 is going to play again later, but before that, Sin and QXC have to finish up their series. We're going to take a short break, and then that'll happen when we get back.